Call this meeting of the Olmsted Township Board of Trustees to order at 7:30 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Alton.
Here.
Trustee Cole. Here. Trustees there.
Present.
Legal counsel Jim Matthews.
Here.
And Fiscal Officer Brian Gillette is here. We stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here tonight. I understand that each of you is here because you care about Olmsted Township, and the board appreciates your interest in our government and our business. In a moment, the board will adjourn into executive session for a period of about 10 to 15 minutes, more or less. These sessions are in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code section 121.22, which allows for privileged discussions between all three board members about sensitive topics such as employment and discipline. Rather than kicking all of you out of this room, we're just going to walk back into the conference room to be a little bit more courteous, and then we will come back after that. So with that, I will move to convene into executive session pursuant to Revised Code 121.22 G1 to consider the employment, discipline, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Okay, and we're going to go into executive session at 7:31 and go into executive session. Do you agree, Trustee Alton?
Yes.
Trustee Cole? Yes. And Trustees there.
Yes.
Very good.
Going back just a little bit.
I'm going to move to come out of executive session at 7:40 p.m.
Second.
Okay, and to come out of executive session, Trustee Alton?
Yes.
Trustee Cole? Yes. And Trustees there?
Yes.
All right. We're back into the regular meeting now.
Okay. I move to amend the agenda to consider item A, the employee reduction and last chance agreement with Christopher Methvin following public comment at the end of the meeting, as well as item B, to rescind prior resolution 021-2023, which provided for the probationary employment of Christopher Methvin as fire chief of Olmsted Township.
Second.
Okay, and to approve amending the agenda, and we're going to put that in section, any other matters that may come before the Board of Trustees, more towards the end of the agenda. Trustee Alton, do you agree?
Yes.
Trustee Paul? Yes. And Trustees Bear?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, Township Administrator Report, Mr. Yalanowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. This is my report for March 7th, 2024. On Monday, March 4th, Great Lakes Construction will rework on Stearns Road. They'll be maintaining the traffic in its current condition, so that's southbound only. They will be starting at the Bagley Road side first, so hopefully we'll get that finished up. So Swings and Things has full access to their facility. On Tuesday, March 5th, we had about 75 third graders visit the township for a field trip. I want to thank all the department heads who gave a little bit of time to explain what they do and why it's important. It was good having the third graders here. Hopefully we drawn up some interest in local government. The trustees have continued their discussions about senior transportation connection. We hope to have a formalized agreement within the next few weeks. We met with Brilliant Sign Company for a quote on our new LED sign at Town Hall. We're seeking other quotes, but we're real excited to get that. I want to thank Julie and Eric for helping with that. And we also had a request for proposals that were due on March 1st for the town hall or town center feasibility. We received 4 proposals. We received it from OHM, Garrison Jones, Designing Local, and Labella. The plan moving forward would be to review these proposals and then select whoever the team decides on. Tomorrow, March 8th, we're having some supervisor training here at the community room, so we're excited about that. This evening, Cuyahoga County came in for a presentation on the sexennial reappraisal that will go into effect next year. I'm going to work with Julie and we'll get some information out to the public. They're holding a series of public engagement workshops at various locations. So if anybody has any questions about that, I highly encourage you to attend one of those. And the last thing I have this evening is the Hollenbach subdivision submitted for rezoning from rural residential to planned residential development. That is our March 28th zoning meeting. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Very good.
Thank you.
We're going to dispense with trustee reports tonight. We'll move straight to department reports. Fire Department, Lieutenant Thomas.
Hi everyone, if you don't know me, Lieutenant Dawson, I'll be doing the fire report quickly. I'm going to start out with personnel. We have a firefighter, James Burfield, will be completing his 1-year probation on March 8th, so tomorrow. We want to congratulate him. We'll be also adding another part-time firefighter. He's in the process. Once he's completed his pre-employment testing, he'll be added onto the schedule. We have quite a bit of training that we've ever been involved with since the last meeting. CPR, we did stop bleed classes with the schools. Reported about 40 teachers attended. We're pretty proud of that. Fire training, we got right now with Olmsted Falls, they required a house from the sewer district. We've been doing all kinds of specialized training to keep our skills up there. EMS training is also ongoing. This month we'll be dealing with toxicology overdoses. The skill will be with LVADs. It's a ventricular device that assists with heart patient. Lieutenant Bacon attended Ashland's FIU arson seminar. It was a 2-day seminar. And then he also just completed yesterday, was at a fire fatality investigation class. So appreciate him and his efforts. He's our only FIU member at this time. Also several fire department, fire prevention personnel completed a fire training that's offered at Independence each month. We talked about fire alarm systems. Today, actually, 2 members attended a behavioral health course at the Cleveland Fire Department. Equipment facilities, I'd like to say that we've retired engine 1. I'm sad to see it go, but it was picked up last Friday, purchased by a man in Texas. So, also firefighter Jansen has taken on a important role of installing doors. Right now, we currently have some curtains, so they'll help out. Got some grant updates also here. AFG grant opened on the 29th. It is closing tomorrow. I just want to appreciate Lieutenant Vonderville for taking the reins on that and getting that done for us. Also, we have the Ohio State Fire Marshal grant application that's been filed. So it shouldn't be too long before we hear back from that. We were awarded an Ohio EMS grant, which we'll use for some medical supplies. Mostly we're going to be purchasing some innovation equipment. And then lastly, the SAFER grant for staffing and a fire prevention grant also are opening on Monday and will go until April 5th. So we'll be applying for those also. Some other issues is Gary already explained, we completed some Falls One, I sent some students over. We got Sparky. That's our fire mascot dog. Came out and made an appearance. Kids love that. We also last weekend completed a PTA field trip tour for about approximately 15 kids and did a safety talk. Some statistics, our run level has gone up this year. We're up over 60 runs from where we were last year. This year, as of today, this morning, we're at 454 runs. And you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different types of runs that we go on. And then just lastly, I just want to recognize 3 other individuals. I received an email today from Southwest Hospital, their EMS coordinator. She wanted to thank Lieutenant Faking, firefighter Chad Bell, and firefighter William Wyatt. They had a heart attack patient. They did a great job, and she's doing very well. So that's all I got. So thank you.
Any questions? No. Thank you. All right, next up, Service Department report. Rick Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Service Department's report for March 7th. I'll be brief because a lot of times I'll report both sides with our administrator. Other than the Sterling project, I can just add that the southbound lane will still be the only direction on that roadway. I will be attending the Cuyahoga County Department of Public Works and Olmsted Township coordination meeting on the 19th of this month. Also, I wanted to report, believe it or not, last month it did snow on the 16th and 17th. We had 3.2 inches of snowfall. We used a complete total of 132.75 tons. That's on our county roads and our subdivisions combined. So, some township, what my team is keeping busy with. We had a large water main break on Southwood, has been repaired. Our crew will, when weather permits, do the final concrete work. They're working on a lot of shoulder repairing on Cook Road, Bagley, and Spafford. We also, because of the wonderful weather, we started crack sealing, which is unheard of for this time of the year because of the temperatures are crucial for crack sealing work. We completed Mackenzie Road and we'll be moving on to Cook Road headed west. Of course, our crew's keeping up with all the potholes throughout the township. We changed out our seasonal banners to our spring banners. Facilities and equipment, we are still painting at the fire department. Seems like we've been there a while, but I think we got one more room and we're done. The quotes for ceiling repairs at the fire department due to a sprinkler system failure. Those will be on new business actually tonight. And also quotes for PD for a window for the sergeant's office. That also is in new business tonight. Programs we dropped off to Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District. Our household hazardous waste, if you don't know, we do that twice a month where residents come on the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. They drop off household hazardous waste, tires with no rims, computers, old engine oil, the whole sort of thing that you can drop off. Once we take possession of those and we get a bunch, we decide to take a delivery. So for instance, on that 21st of February, we had 7 communities that we were a part of. It was a total of 12,765 pounds that were dropped off by those 7 communities. And our total alone, just the township, was 3,434. So a lot of our residents participate in this program, and that's just more items that either don't end up in our ground or in our water. So it's a good thing. These are being properly taken care of. And with that, this past Saturday was our bulk trash drop off on the 2nd of this month. Training, we had an awesome course on basic ropes and rigging on the 27th of February. That was put on by Alan Seaward. That is Burrow Training and Consulting and Design. A really good class from my guys that got to attend. I will be attending the Southwest Safety Council meeting on the 20th of this month. This is regarding BWC fraud. I also attended actually this morning. I attended a mosquito control workshop. This was put on by the Clark Company. Really great class. Topics were mosquito-borne diseases, an update, biology, species, and habitat, pesticide safety and regulatory update, and new technologies in mosquito control. So they got a lot of great information on new products, better for the environment, and so on. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the service department's.
Very good. Any questions? Nope. I have one comment. Eric, I just want to thank you. In between this meeting and our last meeting, we went to the Cuyahoga Soil and Water event, and I thought that was very informative, a good opportunity to interact with other service department folks and local elected officials from across the county. So I enjoyed going to that with you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Next up, Police Department report. Chief Adam.
Thank you, everyone. First thing I would like to do is just recognize the backbone of my agency, which is my personnel. And first thing I want to do is I want to thank a couple officers that have stepped up towards the plate relay, if you will. They didn't have to be voluntold, they raised their hand, and what we were looking for is a few additional officers that would be bike officers riding e-bikes. We had two that came forward, and they're interested in serving our community and getting on e-bikes and riding around when the weather starts to break. And those two officers are Dan Titus and Officer Tyler Krajic. Before they do that, though, they're going to be going to a 1 week or 40-hour class that's put on by IDEVA, which is the International Police Motorbike Association. They'll get their basic skills of riding the bike and just different things they need to do as an officer. I commend them for stepping forward and doing this. It's always nice. This is going to now give, I think we'll have 5 bike officers, which is a quarter of our agency that can be out there at any given time. So once again, thank you for them. I also am excited to report that Officer Logan Kibler, who's been with our agency about a little over 5 years now, will be an additional officer assigned to the Southwest Enforcement Bureau. That's our tactical team that we are paired up with through the multi-jurisdictional. Logan's going to be a TAC operator or a regular SWAT guy, if you will. And he's going to do bi-monthly trainings, and he'll go 16 hours a month. When these officers do it, not only does it help serve our community and other communities, but they get a lot of valuable experience that they're able to come back and knowledge transfer to our officers. So currently we have a couple that are on the SWAT team. We have Sergeant Joe English, who's our negotiator. We also have Ed Barrelin, who's on our mobile field force. And then Sergeant Leo Spagnola is a TAC operator, and he's going to be under the wing now. Logan will be under the wing of Leo, and the one to do that as well. So thank you, Logan, for stepping up and taking on that awesome responsibility, and we thank you. So moving on to training, first, another thing I want to thank is I don't set up a lot of this training. It's actually done by my admin sergeant, Ned Kovic, and he's a magician to do all this stuff and do a schedule. And I want to thank him because we do an exuberant amount of training, and it's not easy to do. And he does an awesome job, and I just want to thank him. But a couple of things that we have, I have 3 bullet points up there. We have Sergeant Joe English, who's recently promoted, and the one school he's going to is our pursuit supervision course, which is in Cuyahoga Falls by a company called Drive Team. February 23rd, that's just an 8-hour class, and he'll get a lot of insight of what it's like to be a first-line supervisor and what you need to do during a pursuit and how to manage that. Each one of our supervisors that are sergeant or above is kind of a mandatory thing we do in our agency that each one goes to it. So they've all had it, and Joe's going now. Also, we have about 1/3 of our agency has completed our annual TASER research. This is a requirement we have to do annually. And that started on, this past Wednesday, the 21st. And, yeah, we did that actually at Olmsted Falls on their third floor, and we paired up with their agency, and we're doing training with them as well. The reason we do that is because a lot of times we mutual aid them, and it's best that they understand our tactics and the way we work, and vice versa. So I want to commend also, our officers working in tandem in unison with with Chief Rogers and his agency. Also, moving on, we have, the last thing is I came across my desk and they gave it to Sergeant Kovic, was I saw that Westlake is hosting de-escalation instructor course through a great company called Force Science. I asked Sergeant Kovic if he'd get a couple in there. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was asked for 2 slots. I think he was able to sequester 3 slots for officers, and it's a very nominal fee. They're only asking $100, and this Force Science is one of the leading in the industry of more or less. What's the best way to put it? It's going to be defense tactic based and training that is throughout the country. I don't know how they did this so cheap. I don't know if Westlake's absorbing some of this cost, but it's an awesome company, and I think we're able to pick up 3 to 7 of that. And not only is this just at a basic level, he's also come back as an instructor and go to front and share that knowledge with our officers. When we look at, people may ask, what is de-escalation training? With de-escalation training, it's basically there's 4 elements we look at. The officers want to be able to contain, control, contact, and communicate with somebody. But when we talk about communicate with somebody, that requires the officer to receive training in such a way that they can communicate with patients and be able to harness or, sequester their emotion, to be able to have emotional intelligence while at the same time employing safe tactics to keep themselves safe and then the person that they're dealing with, and also the public that might be in the area. So it takes quite a bit to be able to do it. I know it's a hot topic word, but there's a lot of training that goes along with it, so it's effective, if you will. Moving on to the next thing is that we have a couple of equipment things where we purchased. We purchased 2 Vault-Tec handgun safes. We've had a lot of success with them. They're very good. These are going to just be for pistols. They're going to be in our admin office. I've got a note here that just basically says desk drawers and file cabinets. They're no substitute for safety. That's not the best way to do it. So we're going to have Vault-Tec safes, handguns, safes that are in our office. We have people that come in that do work in our offices and do things, and we want to make sure that we're doing the best thing to be good stewards to make sure that we, when we don't have them on them, that they're locked up. Also, the other thing too is our WatchGuard server. We were hoping to get another year out of it, but unfortunately it went down, and Simbay was able to put another hard drive in it. It's going to be next year cloud-based, so we won't have to worry about this, but it was, we were able to buy and get another hard drive and not have to buy another server, and that was under $300. We were able to do that. Moving on to some miscellaneous items. The new police department facility cloud-based cameras through Verkada. These are more or less our cameras that see inside that, or that we have inside the station and exterior. It's kind of like your CCTV cameras. The company or the ones we had before were from the original build of the station by a company called Hype Vision. They've been there for a long time. It's very dated, and the software and the hardware is no longer being supported. So it was that recommendation from our IT that we get something that is we're able to move forward with. And one of the companies, Verkada, I know I did some research. Euclid PD uses it. Also Fairview uses it pretty exclusively. Their cameras are 10-year plus service on them. And right now we're going to have 21 cameras that oversee the building in and out. And so far they've installed 10. And it's a big improvement from what we currently have. Also, we had meetings that we attended on Wednesday the 28th with Lieutenant and I. The first one was at the German Club. It was through BWC, and it was on wellness. And then shortly thereafter, we had another one that we met back at the station for a 5-year planning and budgeting, financial planning, to go over our forecasting of some ideas of where we want to be in the next 5 years with some of our purchases, needs and wants and things like that, and what are going to be best serve our community and what we feel helps enhance our officer safety as well. Moving on to some other things that Eric had mentioned, we were looking at building construction improvements for over the next few weeks of adding an exterior window to the front of the building to our admin sergeant's office. And then the next thing we have is the Southwest Emergency Dispatch. We're at a meeting there. And the one topic that they're discussing is what are agencies doing for the April 8th solar eclipse. And it's been on the news quite a bit that there's expectance of possible that, cell phone tower is going to be jammed and you may not be able to get through. And so they're asking public servants, safety, police and fire, like what is your backup plan? What do you have in place? Strongville Police Department brought up a great recommendation, and that is through a government plan. And what it is more or less, it's called GETS. It's Government Emergency Telecommunication Service. And this government service is offered to emergency services for our national security preparedness. And the service adds increased probability of completing emergency calls when normal calling methods fail. So law enforcement and fire and services like that are able then to more or less dial. It's a credit card you have that has a number or just a piece of the thing, and you dial this number, it's a pin, and then you're able to be pushed to the top. So if we have emergencies, we're able to do that. So I want to thank actually Strongville Fire Department for making that recommendation to us. So we're trying to get that wrapped up very shortly, so we have the GAS program in place. Also, please come join us again for a coffee with the chief on Thursday, March 28th at 9 a.m. here at the admin building. Coffee, donuts, and just a great time. Please come and join us. Last thing is just our statistics from February 19th through March 4th. We had 595 CAT entries. We had 15 incident reports. We had 3 motor vehicle accidents. We had 7 arrests, 73 traffic citations, and 55 community engagements. Other than that, that completes my report unless any board members have any questions.
Any questions? No? Okay. All right. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Building Department report. Tom?
Good evening, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces, so welcome. We have just a quick study report. So for real, it's not. We actually, there's a lot going to be happening in our township here shortly. We've got 4 developments that are in the works, which means they pretty much have any civil engineering turned in or the process of turning in, and they'll be starting roads, which will lead to quite a few houses. As a matter of fact, to put it in perspective, I'm estimating about 100 new residents. So that covers anything from a townhome to a single family home to kind of like a row house. There's a couple different plans that are out right now. So 100. To put that in perspective, we did 18 last year, 2023. So there's a lot is happening. So be patient with us if you're trying to end any debt permits. It might take a little bit. We've got commercial. We've got Sunset Memorial still moving forward. We've got just had an addition plan turned into a Grace Church. We have the Muscle Car Museum, which has gone through its first phase of review. So that'll also be a very exciting addition to our township. I think we're pretty excited about that. Lots going to be there. It'll be interesting, I think, for anybody. We'll have a lot of memorabilia, old signs, gas pumps, along with the cars. So I think that'll be the next addition. We're working right now in anticipation of this potential of 100 homes. We're working on really separating, I think, the zoning department from the building department, just so we can kind of get a little organized and make sure we follow with all the steps there is when a citizen or builder turns in a permit. There's several steps that have to be taken, and we're to make sure we stay on top of that. And I think this is one way that will help that. Yeah, I would say, well, our computer system is in the works. It's, we're writing houses and plans and decks through it, and we're just fine tuning it at this point. I had a meeting today, where we got another 2 things fixed. So this is just gonna be something I think that'll, take a little bit more time, but it's going well. So I hope to see that, by this big rush, be completely fine tuned and at a point where we can actually, rely on it and understand that it doesn't, send out an additional $2,000 in permit fees, which it did. So I had to imagine that phone call. So yeah, everything's moving forward good. I'm going to try to wrap up my study and just get my ESI they call it, which is a electrical safety inspector. I think we get that here in the next couple of months, and that about concludes it. I think there's a lot there. If anybody's any questions. More?
Any questions?
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Well,
All right, next up, legal counsel Jim Matthews.
Oh, nothing, thank you.
Okay, fiscal officer Brian Dewitt.
Yep, just got a few things. Since we last met, I did file our financial statements with the Henkel system, with the state. So we're all set with there. We will be audited this year. Every 2 years we get audited, and this is the year. So they will audit last year and this year that we just finished up. So that'll be going on this summer. So it'll be a little bit of a busy summer for Tracy and myself. And then we did finalize the permanent budget, and you'll see that. We're going to be passing that this evening. And also financial committee we need to have, or else Ralph is going to yell at me again. So anyway, I will try to get that done this month in September. In March, sorry. That's all I had for my report.
Okay, very good. All right, moving on to old business items. I believe this is just an FYI, but public notice appeared in the Sun Post Herald 2 consecutive weeks on March 22nd and March 29th, 2024, or I guess it should say will appear, regarding resolution LHR 001-2024, enacting a limited home rule resolution establishing a street and public tree program and other related tree regulations. Moving on to new business items. We have new business item A, the property liability proposal from Otarma for $60,000 and $7.74. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, and to approve the property liability proposal from Otarma. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zver.
Yes.
Very good. Next up is new business item B, which Director Williams referenced in his report. It's the Service Department Judco quote for equipment for a new Freightliner, $118,830. I'll move to approve.
Second. And to approve the Service Department Judco quote for equipment. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zver.
Yes.
All right, new business item C, we have M5 proposal, also referenced in Director Williams's report, the PD install window, $10,955, and fire department install drop ceiling, $14,500. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve the M5 proposal. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zver.
Yes.
All right, very good. Item D, this is more of an FYI. We don't need to vote on this, but we received a request from NOACA about a public comment deadline with the Federal Railroad Administration having to do with the Amtrak Daily Long Distance Service Study. Essentially, there are different routes being proposed for passenger rail across the country. Some of those routes include our area, include Cleveland. Some of them do not. So we thought it was prudent to submit a comment saying that we support having our area be included, because I think our community has a very rich history with rail and passenger rail and freight and everything else that runs across one of the busiest railroad lines in the country that we happen to be situated next to. Moving on to new business item E, Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District Community Cost Share Program application to purchase utility terrain vehicle in the amount of $27,335.88. I'll move to approve.
Second. And to approve the NEORSD Community Cost Share Program application and purchase of a train vehicle. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Methvin.
Yes.
New business item F, also discussed in the reports today, Simvay quote computer replacement for fiscal office, $1,232.97. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Tracy worn out her computer. That's why we need them.
She did.
So to approve the computer purchase for the fiscal office, Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
Yeah.
All right, next up, consent agenda, items available upon request. Item A, meeting minutes, February 15th, 2024, and special meeting minutes, February 19th, 2024, and February 25th, 2024, as well as item B, payment of bills and payroll, warrants, vouchers, and EOs. Please take a second to look at the minutes. If there are any corrections that are necessary, I don't believe there are. Seeing none, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve consent agenda items, both A and B. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
Yes.
Very good. Next up, requisitions. Item A, FD 2024-01, payable to Yohar Supply in the amount of $4,658.08. I'll move to approve.
Second. I had Trustee Cole, just second that. Yep. And to approve, Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
Yes.
Very good. Resolutions, resolution 010-2024, reappropriation / budget adjustment transfers. I believe this is to reallocate to cover OP&F costs, it looks like. I'll move to approve.
Second.
And to approve resolution 010-2024, some reappropriation and budget adjustment transfers. That was for the temporary budget, by the way.
Got it.
And to approve, Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
Yes.
Very good. Resolution 011-2024, amend 2024 certificate of estimated resources. I'll move to approve.
Second.
And to approve resolution 011-2024, the amending of our 2024 certificate of amended resources. Trustee Alton.
Yeah.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
Yes.
Resolution 012-2024, permanent budget 2024. Brian, I don't know if you want to speak to this at all. I know it's a lot of work for you guys.
Yeah, finally, we have the budget at least done, so that's a good thing. So getting with all the different departments and going over what their needs are and making sure we have enough money to cover it. So, this includes not only the revenues, which we just talked about, the amended certificate of estimated resources. So we know exactly how much money we have in the bank now, plus what we're going to get. So we know what that is, about $16 million actually. And then what we're expenditures are going to be about $14 million. So we think we might carry over into the next year about $2 million. So that's what we're passing today.
Okay, very good. I'll move to approve.
Second. Okay, and to approve resolution 012-2024, permanent budget for 2024. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Well, as all of you know, the Ohio Revised Code, the Open Meetings Act, allow for but do not require public comments to be made available for meetings like this. As a board, we've agreed that we'll permit residents to speak for 2 minutes. You may only speak when you're recognized by the chair. We're not going to have any back and forth. If there's follow-up based on your discussion, we're happy to take that in its due course, but we're not going to get into anything where you're going back and forth with individual members of the board. And just please try not to repeat any points raised by others. So with that, I'm not sure who we should have go first here. If there are any other public comment forums out there, potentially. I know we have several up here.
Could I ask a question? What happened tonight in the meeting? Have a few questions.
If you fill out a public comment
did.
form, yeah, did
I'm
he?
pretty sure you did.
This is something, this is about the meeting.
Yeah, why don't we can have you go first. Is that okay, Frank?
It's fine.
All right.
I was questioning the senior transportation credit.
Oh,
Are we going to get more involved in that again?
We're looking at it, yes.
Okay, so residents there,
Yeah, for medical trips, and we're talking about grocery stores too as well. Yeah, we're trying to iron out the details. Yep.
perfect. The only question I had for item E, who are we sharing that cost sharing with? Who are we sharing that
For the,
item E?
He's just asking what is cost sharing?
What does a cost share mean? He's wondering
He's
what
not,
it
he
means.
doesn't understand the concept.
yeah, so do you want to take this, Lisa, or you've seen more?
Sure. There's so much money, we pay so much money in, the residents do, and then there's a cost share. So they give back some to the township, and we can use that towards different things that fall within their specific guidelines. And so that's what that money is for. So even though we're spending it, we apply as a grant, even the money's sitting there as a pot. And then we apply for a grant for that money. Even though it's our money, you apply for the grant and it goes through and it's approved. And that's it's called a cost share.
The who owns the vehicle then?
We
The
will.
township. Yeah, the
Township will, yeah.
And before you move on, Frank, Gary, I don't know if you or Eric want to speak to how we determined that these would qualify for this.
Mr. Chairman, so the community cost share funds are through the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. And so they, like Trustees Vera said, they collect funds, 25% of what comes out of the township, they put in a pot that we have to basically go through this process to allocate funds for. Director Williams could maybe speak more on what we intend to use the vehicle for, but we thought it was a good idea to submit for this because we intend to use the Kubota for use in stormwater maintenance. I don't know if you want to speak to
There?
Yeah, basically it'll be, the asset will be for accessing and maintaining stormwater infrastructure in various terrains and conditions. And that's what this vehicle is intended for, and that's what it's known to do. It's a Kubota utility vehicle. It's designed to navigate diverse terrain efficiently, making them ideal for basically maintaining parks, trails, green spaces, stormwater, situations like that. There's numerous creek crossings and hard to get areas where we remove debris. So this is just a vital piece of equipment that will get that done for us.
Good questions. Yeah, feel free. Yep.
Your Heart Supply. What do we buy from Your Heart Supply?
Yeah, this is the fire department. Fire department requisition.
Was that the doors?
I think it was the doors.
I believe it was the doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
For, firefighter Jansen.
Yeah, it would be, he would be plus one to talk to on that.
Okay.
Requisition. Well, we are installing the doors currently.
Okay. Is that good enough, Frank, or do you have?
I'll pass on that.
They're in the sleeping quarters, aren't they? Sure.
Yeah, the warming.
Yeah.
When you said we purpose.
Curtains right now, right?
Very good. It looks like the next form I have here is Ms. Annette Kimbrough.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can stand or however you want to. Okay.
I'm just curious about what the allegations or charges are against the fire chief.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. We're not going to comment on the actual investigation itself. That's something we've chosen to keep attorney-client privilege, and we have not formally charged the chief through any sort of formal process or anything like that. So, thank you. It looks like next up we have Marty Lesher at 6380 Lewis Road.
Yes, and I'm pleased with the way this meeting is progressing. I was pretty unhappy at some of the previous meetings. I've been attending government meetings for over 30 years, and I just did not think that that behavior was warranted. I just think it's a reminder that you don't have a right to demand to be heard. If you check the Ohio law, they allow us to speak, but there are many organizations which won't allow you to speak. You do have a right to be heard at the ballot box. I would have to presume that all of you can express yourselves there. And meanwhile, these are our elected officials, and we've got to let them perform their duty as they need to in accordance with the law. So that's just, thank you for asking, don't today. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty. It looks like we have Ms. Ann Radney at 2 West Street.
Yes. I have prepared a statement which I would read, it's easier. History repeats itself in this town, especially when it comes to performance of the Human Resources Department and the work environment in general. There's a long list of former employees, chiefs, department heads, and even trustees who have been treated similar as the Chief Methvin that I'm talking about. Some are still fighting injustice. Some could not afford hiring attorneys and have quit or resigned under pressure. Some went to court but could not stand up financially to the township that uses our money to spend on attorneys. If you are not a yay-sayer and hate micromanagement, you better never apply for a job in this town. But if you are related to anyone on the board or on good terms with them, you got it made. That is called nepotism. I'm in this town for 20 years and I have served in 3 official committees as a volunteer, and I've never experienced a more toxic environment. If your opinion offers from theirs, you are history. Residents in town need to know that everyone who is employed or serves in Olmsted Townships serves at the displeasure of the board, and that is where the problem lies. Voters have given the board the authority to work on the residents' behalf, decide what's best for us and the town. So to correct wording should be, the board is serving at the pleasure of the citizens. Apparently, this board thinks it's best for our town to discredit and destroy another human's life, career, and reputation, like several others in the past. Chief Methvin deserves better. In fact, he deserves the best. Every time there is a new face on the ballot, we hope things change, because those candidates who have promised in the past to be oh so different end up not be so different at all. It amazes me every day.
Ms. Radney, you're at 2 minutes. Thank you. Your comments are noted.
My sentence was that I said.
Next up, we have Chris Agnostopoulos.
I just want to really quick reiterate what I said at the last meeting, that, the board, when it comes to things like with Chief Methvin, you should be doing what we want you to do. And I'm sure that you've got a lot of input from us recently, and everything going on. Keeping us in the dark is the wrong thing to do. And not telling us what's going on is the wrong thing to do. Not even letting him know, I guess, what's going on is the wrong thing to do. You guys are doing what you want to do, and that's incorrect. That shouldn't happen. If you guys don't let us in on the secrets, if you don't let us know what's going on, how are we supposed to trust you? How are we supposed to believe in you guys to do the best on our behalf if you're not letting us know what's going on? Do I make sense there? Oh, maybe. Okay.
Is that it?
No, it's not. If you guys continue to work this way, you're going to push us to push back and exercise our rights under the Ohio Revised Code, specifically 3.07 and 3.1, to have you stand in front of a judge and explain yourself. And then ask that judge to remove you from the board. And I will personally be the first one to sign that petition and that complaint if it keeps going on this way. That's it.
Your comments are noted. Thank you. Okay. Any other public comment? Can you fill out a form if you haven't? Can you fill out a form if you have? I know who you are, but.
Yeah. Of course I can, but I'll do that later.
Yeah, just at the end, if you could get it to the fiscal officer, all these are going to be part of the minutes at the end, so we have a record of who
And she
spoke.
let go, or stepped out.
We,
Has Chief been asked to step down?
I don't think that we've ever articulated.
The lack of transparency we saying is what happens. Rumors start. And apparently Chief has been asked to step down. I don't mean any disrespect to these guys. I support them 100%. I wish them more money, more manpower, all of them. But the lack of transparency is where you get the rumors. And both of you, Chief, coffee with Chief, don't do it. Apparently there's issues with it. And apparently, maybe a former employee wanted a pound of flesh before he left. And I don't understand why this is Groundhog's Day again and again in this township with fire department. And it doesn't, they don't deserve it.
Thank you, Micah.
I'll pay for it.
Thanks. All right. Anybody else want to make any other comments? No. Okay. I move, this is motion A, as previously noted. I move that we approve an employee reduction and last chance agreement with Christopher Methvin as presented to the board in writing.
Second. Okay, and to approve the employee reduction and last chance agreement. Trustee Alton,
Yes.
Trustee Cole,
Yes.
and Trustee Zare.
Yes,
I move that the board rescind prior resignation 021-2023, which provided for the probationary employment of Christopher Methvin as fire chief of Olmsted Township, thereby rescinding that employment.
Second.
Okay, and to approve the rescinding of resolution 021-2023. Trustee Alton,
Yes.
Trustee Cole,
Yes.
and Trustee Zare.
yes,
I have brief prepared remarks, and essentially I will say in short, both parties believe this last chance agreement is in the best interest of the township to implement corrective action and to utilize Christopher Methvin's knowledge, experience, and skills and abilities in the most appropriate manner. The Board of Trustees took this action today to address matters brought to the township's attention through an independent investigation. We take no pleasure in this decision, but we are moving forward in the best interest of the township, and we look forward to working with Assistant Chief Methvin in the future. I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting at 8:29.
What does that mean, Riley? Can you translate that?
He will be demoted to Assistant Chief.
Okay. Will be on probation?
He'll be on probation as Assistant Chief. And all of the agreement it'll be a matter of public record as part of the minutes.
Recall this?
Yes.
You dropped it off today.
Yeah. And that's why I said both parties have agreed. Yeah.
Voluntarily?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't enter into a contract like without.
If you give it, a choice of.
I made a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, so second, and to adjourn the meeting at 8:29. Trustee Alton,
Yes.
Trustee Cole. Yes. And Trustee Zare.
yes.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Copy to sign, and that's the one we'll want to keep.
Yeah.
Right, so.
It's better than not.
Thanks, Mike.
They all. See, we're asking for this water to this. Perhaps no, they don't know, right? Absolutely. Have those schools.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's good to have input, but I don't understand why we should drag people without reason. I mean, it's silly. I mean, we had.